Good evening, everyone. I'm Patience. So today we'll be talking about fluent recording. Our assignment topic is on positive and negative punishment. What is positive punishment? Is a type of punishment contingent on the behavior and aversive stimulus or event is presented and the probability of this behavior decreases in the future. For example, when you go to work, you get paid. Your benefit package can be a motivating factor or rather a reinforcer, and it will increase the likelihood that you will always go back to that office or organization again. Some companies pay more than another company. These are way of reinforcing you in order for you to pick up their job over their competitors. Example two I'll be giving regarding positive or negative reinforcement. It said you do not want to put your hands on a burning candle. For instance, when you put your hand on a burning candle, the burnt on from your hand, you kind of feel something. You don't want to do it again. That means there is an increase in the likelihood that you will not want to put your hand on a surface that will harm you. That is another punishment, and that punishment is called the positive punishment. So, what is negative punishment? This is the removal of aversive stimulus, which transit in the decrease of a behavior. So when you look at the word positive, you look at the word negative. When it talks about positive, you are trying to what? Add. When you talk about negative, you are trying to remove. When you talk about positive, while you are adding, you are decreasing the likelihood. But when you talk about negative, while you are removing, you are increasing the likelihood. I will explain further. I have an autistic girl, a very, very beautiful one. So, for instance, she loved cocomeleon. So therefore, she gave more time to the television set to watch cocomeleon over doing every other activities. So myself, our therapist and medical team, we came up together and like, oh, how do we redirect her so that she can explore and do other things like scribbling, like building blocks, like doing other things and learning to use her hands to do other things. So I decided to take away the stimulus. We decided to remove the distraction, that is the stimulus. We decided to bring down the TV time, like the television set time. Instead of, sometimes I say, oh, you only do 2 hours of cocomeleon today. Then gradually we're able to remove it 1 hour. Then while she's not watching cocomeleon, she began to redirect our attention to play with her toys. So therefore, this is what we call negative punishment. I decreased the time she spent on the television set, the TV set, watching Cocomelo, thereby increasing the likelihood for her to be able to engage with playing with other toys. And this has really helped in her development. Another example I have here is when you have headache, for instance, you have fever, you're sick, you want to take Tylenol and you take Tylenol, you discover that you're better. The fever reduced or the headache is gone. So you have removed it's a way of removing that aversion. So therefore, this time around, anytime there's a likelihood that each time you have fever, you want to take Tylenol. And why you take Tylenol? Because you know you're going to feel better. So you have actually been able to use Tylenol to eradicate headache, thereby increasing the likelihood that you always go to take Tylenol anytime you are having pain. So that is also a negative punishment. Because one, for instance, when we hear the word negative punishment and positive punishment, somebody is like thinking, oh, maybe this is a bad content, or negative punishment simply means consequences. No, that is not what we mean by negative punishment. Negative punishment is just a way of reducing. While you are trying to take away those, you are reducing the stimuli, therefore you are increasing the likelihood that something good or a targeted behavior, what you seems to want to achieve, what you want to reinforce, is going to take place. There are some factors that influence the effectiveness of punishment. We have immediacy. How quickly are you able to redirect that behavior? Intensity, the magnitude of that behavior. We have the schedule and the consistency of this behavior. When we talk about behavioral scheduling, the preferency. Then we have reinforcements for targeted behavior and reinforcements for alternative behavior. Also on my list here, I was able to do the summary of the difference between positive punishment and the negative punishment. Positive is anything you are adding, negative is anything you are eliminating. But therefore, the both of them, there is a what? There is an adverse effect for the two. There is a consequence for the both. When you are increasing or you are adding, therefore, on the other angle, you are trying to increase the likelihood. On the other angle, you are trying to decrease the likelihood. So, what is reinforcement? Reinforcement is anything that increase the likelihood of a behavior. Why? What punishment will seems like punishment is anything that can decrease the likelihood of behavior. So to conclude it, punishment is naturally and is something that we all go through on our daily basis, and we need it in terms of learning and in terms of surviving. For instance, you're on the road, you don't want to speed because you don't want to get ticket. The police or the law enforcement is going to ticket you. That is another way of punishment. Thank you.